Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, I'm Elle and I make ethical fashion videos, and yay, welcome to this week's video. I'm gonna be doing a super casual, reflective, sort of sit down video. As you saw in the title, it's all about me becoming a sustainable fashion designer. I'm so hyped for this video, so get a coffee or something. It's gonna be a journey as my computer falls apart. It's just like a piece of it. Look at my laptop. It's beautiful. It has fish stickers, the vestido dress that are very native to the Mexican culture. And then Hello Kitty. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my notes. Okay, I'm gonna start off this video on a very dark note and say that I genuinely think that I really suck at everything in life, honestly. And I also really think I'm wasting my life. As I introduced myself, I'm Elle and I am 26 years old right now, and I am living in the middle of nowhere, Montana, which is also known as the last best place on earth. But honestly, living in this town for the past year and a half really has been life-changing. Yeah, beforehand I had been traveling from place to place, just drifting, honestly, hoping I could find some meaning and some purpose, hoping something could feel special and real, and just some sort of confirmation that I wasn't wasting my life. And it's taking me this long to find happiness and focus within myself. It's not necessarily the location, but I really have started to realize that I don't suck at everything, that I'm not wasting my life, and that I can be good enough. And I want to share this because it's not talked about, and it may not be obvious to a lot of people. And if you've watched my previous videos, you may think I'm very articulate, very perfect in all my information about ethical fashion, and just a lot of people perceive me to have a lot of my life together, when it's simply I love fashion. And so my YouTube channel beforehand was very much that perception, I have everything together, I give a lot of good, concise, straightforward information in every video, and I had the most perfect setup in my perfect living room. But then I actually stopped filming, and this is kind of something that I've done a lot in the past as well, just because I've never really have found something that really clicks with me. This last break, I was, like I was saying, doing very super serious videos, and I just stopped. I didn't resonate, and so I took the time to reflect on what really would resonate with me, and also with you, because I want to be making killer content. And actually, when I was younger, I used to create just for the sake of creating, which is really beautiful, just saying, because I think creation has been the purpose of my life since I've been really young. When I was younger, I would just sit down at this corner of my parents' house and steal my mom's fabric. I was under her sewing corner. She had a whole bunch of fabric stored underneath where she worked, and I would just grab fabrics and grab anything I could and just make outfits and beautiful things for my Barbies all day. And I would just get lost in fantasy worlds. I loved writing and reading, and yeah, I just loved thinking about fashion and fabric and threads all day as a kid, and it sparked me to go to fashion school, and it has stayed with me ever since. And I wonder what would be a better way to live, to create just for the sake of it. I actually really think it's honorable just to create for the sake of it. And I actually recently took the time to sit down and really just think about what my role in life should be, and what it means to be a sustainable fashion designer. And it wasn't easy, but what I discovered is that I would love for creation to be my main purpose in life. Yeah, then that's huge. Yeah, that's really huge to me. And I don't really mean in like the literal sense, like the creation of like life, of like being a mom, but I mean more so like the creation of design and fashion, where like fabrics and weaving can really become monsters in my mind, where they can like consume my imagination and, I don't know, just have it eat and grow inside of me, and to have the world live inside of me and allow it to like bloom is something I desperately desire and need to have a good life for myself. But maybe I'm naive that it's not already there, because I feel like it's not there. Where it's emerging, where desire really can be born out of me to be renewed with my blood and with my life. I want it to grow in the roar and the echo of creation's birth. There is no other way of describing it for me. And I can feel it eating at me. It eats at me, this creation. Creation in me is an emergence. It's emerging. It's whispering the possible stories I will tell and what will consume me of my life. And it's crawling in my blood as it takes life. It is taking life. And it's taking yours as well as you watch this video. And I can't help but remember stories. Stories are so important. We need stories to keep going. We need real stories. And we need to expand on fashion stories and what fashion means, which is essentially the second skin that we wear. And this is so important to me because all my life I felt like I needed to be someone else besides myself. So to tell stories through artistic design and reflection feels also like a chance to finally be myself. And like I mentioned, I want to be a sustainable fashion designer. I want to be myself, to be enough for my dreams, to no longer waste time away from it. Yet, how do I become a sustainable fashion designer in the midst of overconsumption? there is enough clothing, dude, to clothe the next 6 generations. The next 6 generations. It honestly like really blows my mind when I keep thinking about it. 6 generations is literally so much, and it really hurts me to know that we still have so much stuff that is still being made. And for what? Like, what are brands even doing? It hurts me. I can't breathe. And so this makes me wonder, how will I live myself if I make more things out of my desire, the monsters in me to create? Things that honestly we may not even need. And I have to live with that question, because design is literally everything to me. And it's honestly my dream and the reason why I'm holding on so much to my future. But I wonder if it's also a waste of my time and of the planets. Like, do I really need to create? And I honestly don't want to make more things if it's not needed either. That would be horrible. So, I guess in realistic hindsight, I'm asking myself, how would becoming a sustainable fashion designer be a good idea? Would it really be worthwhile of my life? And would it really be a good use of the planet? This question has been haunting me for months. And I guess it starts, maybe to consider how design could go against materialism and capitalism. It makes me consider where my urges for design is coming from. And also it's urging me to see what other worlds are possible, especially in the fashion industry, and how to draw in new colors into what is currently in existence in the fashion industry. And all of these questions requires answers, and that doesn't sound too bad to me, to want to uncover other realms of being, to create extensions of myself through clothing, especially when garments are honestly the universal ribbon that connects us all over the world. You know, whether we like it or not, we are all engaged in fashion. It connects us all as humans, no matter what we look like, no matter where we are, no matter how we speak, no matter what religion we believe in. We're all connected through fashion. But it's monsters. I feel like they're monsters. And I'm tormented that at 26, maybe it's too late to feed this desire, this hunger, this aching, this baby monster. And that it's too late to care about any of these questions, even if I don't mind delving into these realms. And it haunts me that maybe my life is too far gone. That maybe it's really also not a good idea to do any of this. Maybe it would be better to be an environmental organizer or to fight for housing rights here in my local community. and that I shouldn't spend time experimenting with textiles, with garment structures, and with my core creativity. And it doesn't help either that I have to gain very beginner, clear skills on how to sew and how to understand textiles and how to even become an expert in fashion sustainability. So it makes me feel like I would be wasting resources learning fashion design, and it would take away valuable time that otherwise could maybe be used better, elsewhere. Yeah, guilt haunts me every single day. Is it possible to be a sustainable fashion designer that is actively fighting for the liberation of others through their work? What would that look like? What would liberation for myself look like through my sustainable fashion work? And what is liberation in reality? Like, how does that look like, and even now I feel, going back to the guilty part, I feel guilty making this video. I'm really guilty of wanting to be a pixel on your screen in order to be understood a little bit better, honestly. But I don't want you to confuse me. That's the thing here. I wanted you to see the kitty. I wanted the kitty to be included. Yeah, I don't want you to confuse me. I really, really ache to be free, and I really ache to fight for liberation, for social issues. And I think really that ache to fight for my liberation is carrying almost over my feelings of desire for creation. And it's peering over me as I sit right now and try to explore this sustainable fashion that's coming up for me. The sustainable fashion is what I'm gonna call my journey. When I'm talking about collections, I'm gonna be like, the sustainable fashion is consuming me. But yeah, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, we must decide what roles we want to hold in life. And for me, I really want to align my heart, really with my core, even if it does let people down. Something that's super clear about me is that I can't live without art. I can't live with myself either if I don't feel fulfilled with how I spend my days. Even when guilt and desire seem to be this battleground, I want to do the right thing for me and for the world, where I have my design philosophy bring about beauty and goodness, where sustainable fashion can address the pains of our existence and just make it a little bit better, and hope so much that it can really fight for my liberation and for yours as well. I don't have all the answers though. That's what eats at me too. And I also really just want to start this journey to be deeply shaped and inspired by designers who create beautiful, artisanal, decolonial textiles from their cultures. This is so important to me in the face of Western assimilation and in the face of fast fashion, where there's only cheap, trendy clothing that holds no deeper meaning or value, and is also known to reinforce a Western mentality across the globe. So I really do want to design for purpose. I want happiness. I ache for my desires and deeper exploration, and to also develop a stronger sense of self. But there's always more questions. But what if I do start, and what if I do start designing? Then what? You know? What is the purpose of creation? Again, if it just creates more stuff, what would be the ideal end result? You know, what would this all be for? I don't seek popularity. I don't seek fame or even money. Maybe just some understanding. And I don't see merit in collections either. And I don't really want to do things just to see a million people wear my stuff. Like, instead, I love inviting people into my life, into my journey. Clearly through this video, it's one example of how I'm doing that. And I love just like learning with others. I love learning at the core of it, you know? And maybe the woven fabric and fashion pieces can be an embedded code of creation, one to be used as a tool for external collective education. Maybe sustainable fashion design can be a path to collective liberation and justice, where fashion is clearly, tangibly engaged with socio and economic issues in a tangible political way, and I just can't help but think, like, how simple of us to think that fashion is not already a political act. Like, I am so mistaken to think liberation and fashion can't be connected. It's, I think, very political to become the best versions of ourselves, and to think so critically, and to want to connect so deeply with others, and to understand each other in a world that is just trying to sell us things to divide us. Because I think when we put meaning to things, it can be the ultimate revolution in a world that wants you to get rid of everything and everyone. And I truly just want to see another world where sustainable fashion is a possibility, where I can take vintage and secondhand fabrics and patterns and make new visions and new worlds and our dreams in a very tangible, material way. I want fashion to be one where it fills our needs and even our desires, and where it marks our ability to know each other and understand each other. And I really just like want to know the people that I'm like designing for, if I do make things for other people, you know, like, because I think everybody is unique, and you need to like measure and understand it to make clothing that will be loved and will make you look so beautiful. And I just want to use like the dead stock and the vintage and the second hand to make that possible. Like, why can't we be doing that, all of us together, and just using what is already in existence? And there's also this thing about ownership in the fashion industry. I'm getting choked up, but like, I've really never been a believer of owning something to experience it. And I don't see myself selling something unless it was made for someone in mind. Because yeah, I really just like want to design for people, and make sure they really love it. Like, if they don't love it, I don't want them to walk away with it, because I know it's just not going to be appreciated. And I think this just requires a lot of like body function and aesthetics and purpose all flowing together to make art, essentially. Yeah, for now, I think I'll be creating for myself. I'll be making cool stuff, sharing the process here. So yeah, I really want you guys to come along on this journey and come together in molding our second skins. And yeah, I almost feel like Dr. Frankenstein. I feel like a mad scientist, a mad man, constructing literally new bodies to grow again. And in this sense, it's like growing my own body. And also fashion can be a body, you know, that second skin metaphor. And we can be also like snakes in the process too, where we can continuously shed our own bodies again and again to begin again and again. There will always be beginnings and endings as well. So just because I'm on this beginning doesn't mean it won't come to an end, and there won't be other endings for in the foreseeable, you know, next day or weeks or months or whatever else. So yeah, life is exciting, but I hope, yeah, you join me as I sew and make more meaning out of life, and when I'm like meshing fabrics together in an attempt to work through me and myself, and just like also within that journey is like figuring out like what pieces represent my soul, my thoughts, my emotions, and my dreams. And if I'm working with others, that's also a process that I need to engage with them as well. And yeah, I really also want to grow closer to freedom and figuring out how to fight for the worlds that I want to see come to fruition, and how to move out of the suffocation of oppression given everything in our life. I'm literally, I guess, sharing with you that I'm fighting for my life, to dream, to create, to believe, to ask, to see what else can be made possible. And there is a little bit of unhinged imagination and passion that I kind of like hide really well with very eloquent metaphors. Yeah, I don't really know what's happening in the world and with me, so, but still, I invite you to join me. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. I kind of like this vibe of videos. Do you like it? This is who I am. I just kind of like winged it. I was like, I don't know how to film this video. I have a bunch of stuff to say. And it just kind of, this just kind of happened, and I think this is what's resonating. So if you like this, if you resonate as well, please join me. I would love to have you in my sisty fashion community. And as always, peace and love. L.